Hey, what's up, guys? It's Russo and Jordy with Backdoor Fantasy Sports, and we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl on Prize Picks. I'm so stoked. I got my setup back. No more headset mic, no more iPhone
Thank God.
speakers. And yeah, gosh, that was rough. But I'm so stoked to have my setup back. So yeah, we got good vibes going. We're going to be covering the Super Bowl picks. We are not going to be doing recaps for any of these. Honestly, it's just kind of a pain to go that far back, 2 weeks back, because we can't just jump into Prize Picks and review our plays. Because we put out so many plays that I was scrolling back and it wouldn't even let me go that far back. But anyways, we've got 6 picks for you. We're going to be covering these. We're going to drop a Demons video after this. But yeah, February 11th, Sunday, last video for Prize Picks for the NFL of the season, and it's been awesome, guys. We appreciate all of you. We started this channel with the football season, so this is our first year, and we're really stoked. We appreciate all of you guys liking the videos and everything you've done to help us grow the channel. It's been awesome to grow this community. We can't wait for next year.
Yeah, we'll be back next year. We're out.
Yeah, see ya. But yeah, and next year will be fun because we're also going to add a fantasy football show. We'll be covering Dynasty and Redraft and all that fun stuff. So Jordy and I can't wait to get into all that. But yeah, so if you've never tried Prize Picks, use our promo code at the bottom of the screen and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. They're just going to double what you put on. So if you deposit the whole 100, you'll get 200 to play with. And if you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to jump on these plays before they get removed or bumped. Typically, they get removed like sometimes right as we're posting, like that happened in the NBA video today. But if you want to get notified as soon as the videos drop, just make sure notifications are on. And if you guys don't mind, do us a favor and like the last video of the season for the NFL. So help us just like crush it. Let's break our record. I think our record is like 400 and something likes. But yeah, that's the best way to support the channel. It just gets us in front of a larger audience. Been working like a charm all season. And we thank you guys so much for helping us grow the channel. All right, so here are the plays we're going to be covering. I'm going all fantasy score. I'm going Isaiah Pacheco over 15 fantasy score. Marquez Valdez-Scantling over 4 fantasy score, and I'm going George Kittle over 11.5 fantasy score. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking Travis Kelce for over 1 rushing or receiving touchdown, and then I'm gonna be taking Brock Purdy for over 12.5 rushing yards, and I'm gonna be taking Christian McCaffrey for over 90.5 rushing yards.
All right. Well, before we get into this breakdown of all these plays, we want to tell you guys about our favorite partner, Daily Grind. They've been crucial to the way we do our research and the way we confirm the picks we are running with. DFS Optimizer, you'll see me using it here in just a moment, and same with Jordy. But the DFS Optimizer is killer. They have an awesome correlation slip builder. They actually just are adding. They have like a new AI assistant type thing that is going to be working with the correlation tool. They just announced it. But yeah, all sorts of really great tools for DFS, and they're giving all of our viewers 25% off of your first month. If you just use code BACKDOOR, you'll get 25% off of any of the tools. You can use it on all of them if you want and just get the bundle. But yeah, really great value there. Just make sure you use code BACKDOOR, and there's a link in the description of the video if you want to check that out. And cool, so let's get into these plays. So start with Isaiah Pacheco. I haven't even looked at it yet. Let me pull up DK Sportsbook and let's look at this over under 47.5. The Niners favored by 2. I really want to see the Niners win. Like it's like I'm good with whoever wins. Like the Chiefs have done incredible things. They're like the only true dynasty around right now for the NFL. So if they win another, bravo, like happy for you. But I would like to see CMC and Kittle and all these guys, Brock Purdy. It's kind of a fun story with Brock Purdy. But yeah, I'm looking for a good game regardless. I think it'll be good. All right, so let's hop over to Outlier. If we take a look at the fantasy score option, which is now available on Outlier, it's been available for a couple weeks now, but we can actually break this down. He's gone over this 6 out of his last 10 games, and 4 games straight he's hit this. And he's showed out against some pretty tough matchups that I think are more difficult than the matchup he has for the Super Bowl, especially his most recent, going for 18 fantasy score against Baltimore. For a second, I was trying to scroll down to do his minutes, but it's like it's not the NBA here. But yeah, the matchup, like let's break this down a little bit. If we take a look at like receptions, he went for 4 against Baltimore, and we've got the 49ers 29th in receptions allowed. Versus running backs in particular, they're 28th. So good chance he'll be able to catch the ball a few times. We know with fantasy score, you get a full point for every reception. So that will definitely be stacking on to that a little bit. If we hop over to receiving yards, 26th in receiving yards allowed to running backs. So all of this is looking good matchup-wise so far. Let's take a look at rushing yards. More difficult with rushing yards. So we've got 2nd in the league in rushing yards allowed. So that'll be a little bit more difficult, but he still was able to go for 68 against Baltimore, which is like extremely stout, defense. But I think that they're going to really, if you paid attention to what the Chiefs did against the Baltimore Ravens, like if the Chiefs get a little bit of the lead, they are going to be hammering the ball. Like they're going to run it so much. I believe he went for like 24 rush attempts. I know his rush attempts were pretty juiced in this game in particular. If you want to take that, go for it. But it's set at 16. I would rather just go for fantasy score, because if he goes over 16 rush attempts, I think he's going to go over 15 fantasy score personally. I think we see him in the end zone at least once this game. Let's take a look at touchdowns matchup wise. So they're pretty good against touchdowns. 3rd in touchdowns allowed to running backs. 2nd overall as far as that goes. But yeah, I'm feeling good about this play. I'm going to be taking it for more. If we hop over to daily grind for Pacheco, they actually have this favored slightly to the under, but this is another one of these weird situations we find sometimes with fantasy score. I think it just confuses the algorithm a little bit. So they have it just barely favored to go under on the odds to hit indicator at 50.8% odds to hit the under. But if you look at what odds they have for this to hit the under, it's a -103. So their odds are favoring it to go over. And it also gets a little confusing because it's just recognizing that Prize Picks has this at 15, and all these other odds makers, a lot of them have it at like 14, 14.3. So I think that's why the odds to hit indicator is showing a different, perspective than the straight up odds. But anyways, I'm feeling good about this play. He's obviously going to have to be a big part of what they're doing, and we're just going to keep moving. I'm taking that for more. My next play, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. This is super low in my opinion, because he'll go well over this on 2 receptions, and I think he'll get at least 2 receptions because he's been getting more involved. And it's not like he gets like a ton of targets, but yeah, he's going to get at least 2 catches in my opinion, and he'll be able to go over this line at 4. If we look at his last 2 games, he went for 8.2 fantasy score against Buffalo and 5.8 against Baltimore. 2 really difficult matchups. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the 49ers are not that great against the pass. So if we look at receiving yards, so they're like, middle of the road, a little bit above average, 13th in receiving yards allowed. It's just such a low line. Like we said before, each catch, each reception is worth at least 1 point since they do full PPR on Prize Picks. So again, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. I'm expecting him to get two catches for probably 50-ish yards, 60 yards, and that will put us well over the mark between the yards and the receptions. So that's going to be my second play, taking this for more. And if we hop over to Daily Grind for this one, they're also expecting this to go over 1.5 receptions, and they've got his fantasy score here at 50.63% odds to hit the over, and then a similar situation. Like, it's kind of confusing with the actual odds here. So we're just going to keep moving. If you don't like it, just fade it, but I'm rolling with that one because it's such a low line to hit. And then moving on to George Kittle. If we take a look at George Kittle, he has only done this twice. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong, but I think it's the same for his fantasy score. Yeah, he's only gone over this twice, but I'm also, you know how I like patterns. Like it looks like he's due for a game if he's kind of being utilized and then faded, utilized, faded. But this is the Super Bowl, and if you guys remember the way, I don't know if you ever saw that clip of him talking about after they lost the last Super Bowl they were in, when he was saying like I will be back, you know, and he was like this dude's determined. I don't think that they're gonna like uh, not utilize him in this game, especially with a difficult matchup. If we take a look at this receiving yards, receptions. We'll start with receptions. 15th in receptions allowed to tight ends, but that's not the same case when it comes to wide receivers. With wide receivers, they're 4th in receptions and receiving yards allowed. So there is a soft spot here. I think that the Chiefs are going to be focusing on Christian McCaffrey, obviously, which good luck stopping him either way. But they're going to be focusing on him, and I think they're going to want to make sure Deebo Samuel doesn't go too hard. So I really think that this is going to be a game where George Kittle gets pretty heavily involved and goes for, I would get, like if I had to project it, I would say I think he sees like 3 or 4 receptions, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got a touchdown. So if he does those 2 things, he's pretty much there already. But yeah, receiving yards allowed to tight ends 9th. So not too scary of a matchup. Like I said, a little bit of a soft spot there. And I just think the attention is going to be on Deebo and CMC. If we hop over to Daily Grind, similar situation. They do have this favored to go under, 52.24% odds to hit the under, but they don't have it very juiced. So anyways, these are the 3 I'm rolling with. Sorry, it was a little bit shaky with the breakdowns just because I went with all fantasy score options. But yeah, you want to get into yours, Jordy?
Yeah, man. So to get me started with mine here, I'm gonna be going with to get started this Travis Kelce anytime TD. I'm excited to watch this game, man. It's a fun deal every year. Like right after my birthday, we get the Super Bowl, so it's always like an enjoyable weekend for me. But yeah, I hope it's even better for me when the Chiefs lose this game. So I'm gonna start with this Travis Kelce one. This is just a play that I expect him to get done. He's scored in every playoff game so far this season. He hasn't had like a lengthy year of scoring. It was honestly kind of like a down year for him, as crazy as that is, as well as he played all year. It wasn't like the best scoring year he's ever put together. He only scored 7 times all year. 5 not including the postseason. So I like him to go over this line. In the last 2 playoff games, he scored twice and once against Baltimore. So twice against Buffalo, once against Baltimore. Obviously, it's a tough matchup. That's why these 2 teams are playing against each other, is because they're really good. So I'm going to be taking this one over. It's just kind of a 50-50 shot. It's favored to go under, but on DG, it's basically a 50% chance. So this is just like literally going to be a 50-50 ball, but I think he's always heavily involved in the scoring game for them. So I'm expecting Kelce to get 1 TD here. And then moving on, I've got this Brock Purdy rushing yards. Also, don't forget that you guys, if you go to this promo section, they have all of these like celebrity picks. If you put like a lineup on one of these, you get entered into a chance for $1 million. So definitely play that. I'm going to be tailing Ruby Rose for sure. So that's the one I'm going with. And then I'm taking this Brock Purdy rushing yards for over, for over 12.5. So this one is favored to probably go. It's favored to go over just slightly. 50.49% chance, minus 120. I feel good about it. He's been running for his life in these playoffs. He went for 48 rushing yards against Detroit, and that was a way tougher matchup for quarterback rushing stats. This is actually a good matchup for him. They're 23rd in rushing yards allowed to quarterbacks, so it's because they bite so hard on the run, and they're going to have to against Christian McCaffrey. So I think RPO, it's not a big part of their game, but it's going to have to be in this game, I think, with how good the Chiefs defense is looking this year. So it's Christian McCaffrey is just such a massive decoy out there that I think Brock Purdy can at least get 13 rushing yards here. He's gone over it twice in these last 2 playoff games as well, so I feel good about this one. These teams, there's no real head-to-head to look at. Like, you can look at it, but they haven't played each other since 2022, so it's really not even like a head-to-head. You're not getting like what these teams actually are now. So taking Brock Purdy for over this rushing yards. And then my last play is this Christian McCaffrey for over 90.5 rushing yards. he's going to be a big part of this, obviously. In the last 2 playoff games, he's gone for 98 and 90, so he just missed it by half a point there. But I think he'll get this done. It's going to be, especially if they get in the lead like they're expecting, they're just going to hammer this guy until he gets, the time down in the game, and that's going to be a big part of their time of possession. So I like him to go over this 90 and a half. He's done it 10 times out of 18 games this year. So we don't have to talk about Christian McCaffrey. We all know how impressive he is. It's a decent matchup. They're ranked 14th in rushing yards. They've gotten a lot better over the postseason, but they're still giving up 86.8 rushing yards a game. So I think he can get this done. On Daily Grind, this is a 50.97% chance to go over and a minus 122. So, those are the 3 I'm going with for this awesome Super Bowl slate.
All right. Yeah, that's going to cover it for us, guys. If you're interested in checking out our Discord, there's a link in the description of the video. It's about 50 cents a day. It's a really killer community. We do, everyone's in there doing esports and NHL and golf and like everything you can think of. They cover so much more in there. And the reason I say they is because we have 2 other analysts, and Jordy and I, we share our plays as well. But just the community as a whole is a good resource. And so there's guys that are going into like League of Legends and what's the other one they play?
CS2.
Yeah. And so it's just a good vibe in there. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description of the video. Just go to server subscriptions once you're in Discord and make sure you subscribe, and it'll unlock all the channels for you. But yeah, we hope you guys have a great Super Bowl Sunday. I almost forgot to mention, don't forget to check out Chalkboard, another partner of ours. It's just another platform. They have $1 for your minimum bet. It's like only $1, and you can adjust your lines to what you want. So it's pretty cool. Just use code BACKDOOR and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Link in the description of the video for that as well. And I don't even know if I mentioned Outlier, but 7-day free trial and Outlier as well. I think I did, but just a little reminder there. But thanks again for rocking out with us all season, guys. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to continue with NBA, and we'll be back with more content in the off season for NFL as well, and prepare for like our fantasy football and dynasty content. So we appreciate you guys. We hope you enjoy the Super Bowl, and we will catch you in the next video.
Good luck, guys.